So for this presentation, I'm going to be talking about mimicry and camouflage, one of the most notorious defense mechanisms in the plant and animal kingdom. So with definitions, camouflage is sort of the overlying principle behind all of this, which is just trying to blend in with the surroundings by disguising your appearance. There's multiple different forms of it: concealing coloration, disruptive coloration, disguise, and mimicry, which mimicry is sort of a larger group within camouflage and can break down into multiple sections, which will be covered later. Mimicry is just resembling other plants or animals or inanimate objects to conceal yourself in the environment. So with concealed coloration, what you're trying to do is pretty much make your coloration match the environment. So for example, this polar bear is white on the snow. Disruptive coloration is pretty much the opposite, where you're trying to use really distracting coloration to make yourself look larger, I guess. So for example, these zebras, because of everyone having these bright black and white stripes, it distracts the predators and makes them unable to pick out specific individuals. It just kind of looks like a big black and white blob. That way they can't target sick or old individuals. So disguise is one of my favorite aspects of camouflage, where you're trying to blend in with specific objects in the environment. These are two pictures of different mantises that I have. Obviously, the African twig mantis blends in with sticks by camouflaging its body and shape to look exactly like a stick. On the other hand, you see the dead leaf mantis over here. This is an adult female, and you can see the various different markings on her to try and blend in with other dead leaves. And there are other different types of disguise mimics that can use rocks, other twigs, live leaves or plants, and will try to blend in that way. It's kind of an overzealous version of concealed coloration. So finally, with mimicry, you have two different kinds. You have Batesian mimicry and Mullerian mimicry. Batesian mimicry happens when there is a distasteful organism, such as this monarch, that will obviously ward off predators, and other mimics will copy it. So for example, the viceroy, which is non-toxic, will copy the coloration of the monarch to make itself seem toxic. Mullerian mimicry, on the other hand, happens when you have two different types of potentially dangerous organisms copying the coloration of one another to send similar signals. So for example, bees, wasps, and so on have this black and yellow coloration to ward off predators. So why would you use camouflage or mimicry? Well, obviously you could use it to avoid predators, whether you're hiding in plain sight like a disguised mimic, or you could feign toxicity like a Batesian mimic. You could also use it to ambush prey. So for example, the orchid mantis here blends in with flowers to try and ambush prey. Or you could use it to ward off potential threats. You could be a Mullerian mimic and use your black and yellow or red coloration to ward off other predators. Or you could use it for other things. So for example, the bee orchid here uses different types of mimicry to trick bees into pollinating it, which it can then use to reproduce. So I hope this gave you a better insight into mimicry, and hope it fuels your interest into looking deeper into the topic.